My friends, welcome back to the one, the original, the world's only podcast, The Neon Gutter. I'm your host, Bert Cohen, and we are extremely happy you're here. Now, in earlier episodes, we've talked about the historic exploits of our group, from pranking Bob Stupak at Vegas World, to spending only $19 a day in Las Vegas, and then sharing those stories along with a lot else at the world's only website, theBigEmpire.com. But theBigEmpire.com didn't stay the world's only website for long, and down the road, our heroes created a new website, one you may even know and love. It was CheapoVegas.com, one of the earliest Vegas review sites, known for its completely honest reviews, irreverent style, and of course, Casino Boy.
Casino Boy.
Yes. Today we're going to talk about how CheapoVegas started, how it operated, and how it ended. Here to give us the inside scoop are my two co-hosts, Dan.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to CheapoVegas.
And Matt.
Hello. And no, this is not CheapoVegas. CheapoVegas is now a really crappy website that hasn't been updated in over a decade. But
welcome back to the original CheapoVegas.
Yes. The Wayback Machine.
That's right.
CheapoVegas.
I'm still sad that it's defunct.
Yeah.
We all are.
I know.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So guys, it's a little difficult to describe a 20-year-old website on a dumb podcast, but maybe give it your best shot. For those who don't know, what was CheapoVegas and how did it start?
CheapoVegas was like you said, is a hotel review website, and we focused on two things: saying what we actually thought of the hotel and casino, and also on kind of our perspective, what mattered to us. You know, was it a good value? Was it cheap? Was it interesting, or was it bland? Which has kind of taken over the strip now. It would be really hard to do CheapoVegas with so many bland casinos now. But that's what it was. It was really, I think the reason it was so successful is because, one, we weren't trying to sell anyone anything. And the other was that it actually had a point of view. Like, that's you right. Knew you could hear our voice when you read the site.
Like, it's a review that's
sure.
really a review. I mean, that's so absent these days. Like, most reviews are some kind of corporate shill or someone paying someone to say something about something. And this was like a real review from real people. Like, you could hear us talking about these things. And so you were getting a really honest look. And we never pulled punches. We were pretty smarmy and jokey about stuff. But when a place was good, we would say so. We were very honest. If we liked a place, we said it. And if we thought a place sucked, we'd say it.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
But it also wasn't just a collection of random people on the internet who had stayed at a hotel once and had a grudge because they didn't get the towels at the pool that they wanted, or loved a place because they gave them a free dessert in the restaurant or something. It was all in your voice and your style and your point of view and perspective.
I think that's why I appreciate the reviews of products now written by people, because like they're really honest. But you only get one at a time, so.
Well, and you also, you get a whole bunch of different points of view, and you don't know whether that person is reliable or whether they have
full
a grudge.
Of crap. Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, and we also talked about things nobody else talked about. Like, at the time, there weren't nearly as many Vegas influencer or so-called experts, and we were so-called experts.
Wait. Did you just call us influencers?
No.
Yes,
I'm saying there weren't all those. Like, we're lost in a sea of people who consider themselves experts now. Back then, it wasn't a sea. It was a very minor trickle. And we kind of stood out because we also talked about things nobody else talked about. My wife did theme reviews. She reviewed the theme of each casino and how faithful was it to Egypt or Rome or Italy or whatever, you know, and she was very catty about it. Yes. And
now there's no themes. She'd have nothing to write about.
Right. She'd be pretty angry.
Yeah. Now, you've kind of covered why CheapoVegas was different from other sites, but even if it was brought back today, it would still be 100% different from everything else out there. But what made it different? What aspects of the hotels were you focusing on? What sections of the website did you have that were different than anywhere else? And what was your perspective that was different and made it so popular?
First was Casino Boy.
Casino Boy, first of all. We had Casino Boy, and he wore a costume for each hotel, and he gave you a
site logo or mascot kind of.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I guess I can tell you, we stole Casino Boy. He actually was the mascot for a defunct ice cream stand at a amusement park near where I live in Colorado that was built in 1908 called Lakeside. Wonderful, wonderful amusement park with lots of mid-century Art Deco architecture and neon. And they have this little ice cream stand that I've never seen open. It had this boy on it. And I was like, that thing is awesome. And they're not using him. So we took him and we dressed him up in costumes. And
it was so cool because like most companies guard their logos. There's like whole manuals of this is how our logo has to look. And Casino Boy had a different costume for every review.
Yep.
Like sometimes he had
every hotel, the Casino Boy would have a different costume to sort of match the theme or the vibe of the hotel.
The vibe, yes.
I'm remembering the Casino Boy for the Western Hotel where he was unshaven and drunk, spittle hanging out of his mouth.
Because that was the vibe.
That's the Western.
And there's a cloud of smoke around him also.
Right.
Yeah, that was the vibe. Yeah, and Mark, Stinky Mark, did most of the graphics. It was kind of my idea, and I did some of them, but he was so much better at graphics, so he did the graphics for those. The other things that we did is, besides being honest, we said, hey, here's what you get bottles of in the bathroom. Do you get conditioner, shampoo? Do you get the mother load, the sewing kit, the stuff that we thought was really interesting, you know, like, and that was really a good way to judge, like, is this place nice or not? Is like, if they just gave you shampoo, it's probably not a very nice place. Shampoo and conditioner and lotion. All right. Now you're talking, you know, Holiday Inn level, but, there's the theme reviews. We went deep into the sports book and told you how many TVs there were, how big were the TVs, how easy was it to get a seat? Did they have a lot of seats? Was it worth coming to watch a game there?
Is there even a resource like that available today?
I'm not sure that there is.
I doubt it. Cocktail service too, like how quickly
cocktail service, how
for sure.
Yeah, in fact, we had one hotel, I can say it, the Boardwalk, which is now gone, that wrote us. We said, "Hey, their cocktail service is great. You can get drunk pretty fast." And their manager was furious. He emailed us and said, "You know, Pete, we don't serve cocktails to get people drunk here." He says, "You need to take that down." And I'm like, "Well, that's why people get cocktails at your hotel," you know. So we left it up. It's like, sorry, we think people can get drunk at your hotel.
And quickly.
Yes.
And that's another thing that I think made your site so popular is you were totally independent of the hotels, 100%, just like our podcast is, and that we don't know people at the hotels. The hotels don't want to know us.
Right.
And so our opinions are always 100% independent, whether you like them or not, or whether you like the hotels that we're talking about or not.
We never took a single comp for, we never even told the hotels who we were when we were there. We got some comps. Like one time we got 13 people comped for breakfast at the El Cortez.
That's because we were on a hot streak.
But that was just our regular gambling. That wasn't part of the website.
That was just hot streak.
Yeah, we never told them who we were. Yeah, that's just not the way we did things. We never took any comps. We paid for everything. We were kind of didn't even know how to ask for that kind of stuff. Now, you know, influencers are shameless about, hey, you know, give me something. That just wasn't our style. And I think still today, that sickens me. I would never like say, hey, if you give me something, I'll say something nice about you.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do to make me say something nice about anyone.
I can tell you that is true firsthand.
Shut up, Bert.
So tell us a little bit when CheapoVegas started and how long did it take before you got some traction and really found an audience and realized that you were finding an audience and you could measure traffic in those days for sure. But when were you getting the sense that it was really becoming successful?
When managers and agents started contacting us and TV shows started contacting us. That's when we knew we were getting traction. And when we were being asked to write articles for like Time Out Las Vegas and for various things and being used as an authority on Las Vegas newspapers, the Washington Post or other places would call us as an authority. What do you think about this? It's like, really? You're asking us? But we already had an audience from Big Empire. So we were already pretty well known. So it was an easy launch to do it from Big Empire. I remember our friend Feldy's like, why are you launching another site? How's it going to be different? And I couldn't explain it to him. I just said, it's just going to be different. And it's going to be more about reviewing individual hotels because The Big Empire was like, hey, here's some cheap stuff. Here's our funny adventures. This was like getting into the nitty gritty on each hotel.
Yeah, Big Empire was a bunch of it was a lot of goofy stuff. I mean, I don't think we ever had bad Vegas poetry on CheapoVegas.
No.
It was definitely
Big Empire was
goofier.
Horseplay. Yeah.
It was a bunch
grab
of
ass.
comedy writers writing comedy.
Yeah.
And CheapoVegas was actually a service.
Yeah.
It was still a bunch of grab ass, but
Yeah. And we did it because we were so annoyed that nobody was being honest about Vegas.
Well,
The few sites that did it were like, oh, this place is wonderful. Here's where you book it. Here's how you can book it. Oh, this magic show is fantastic. Here's how you can book it. And that just it really irritated us.
especially because we've been going to Vegas for so long and we're seeing through the veneer.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not great. This is actually really cheesy. It's like,
right. Yeah, that's exactly it. Those sites are all, this is great, took it so seriously.
Yeah.
And it irritated the hell out of us that anyone took Vegas seriously, because it's an immensely silly place, and it should be treated as such.
Right.
Yes.
Don't take it seriously.
This is maybe a sidebar, but just on the spur of the moment, what's the timing between Filthy Critic and do you want to talk about Filthy Critic on this? I don't know if that's something you want to identify here.
Well, that was something else I was doing as a quote unquote movie critic, the world's best fake critic. I wrote movie reviews as the Filthy Critic. I was doing that. I started that about 99, and we started CheapoVegas in 2001, and we started the Big Empire in 95.
But you see why I'm asking, right? Like the Filthy Critic was also really frank about reviews and like not willing to say, I'm going to review this because I want to get into a newspaper with my review. I'm not going to say that something's good that's shit, It's like there's a similar aesthetic here.
I think that's me.
Yeah, yes. There you go.
I'm kind of a blunt person. I don't, I like what I like and I don't like what I don't like.
No, but you've got a sense of integrity in that it bothers you anytime you feel like someone's issuing fake praise
bullshit
to enrich themselves and so on.
Right. Oh, absolutely. That's not integrity. That should be human nature for everyone. But the reason we started it is for the same reason I've started almost everything I've done in my life, and that's because someone made me upset. Mm-hmm. We had the
That's
Big
why
Empire.
You're so busy too.
The Big Empire was and so popular. The Big Empire was getting popular and was getting noticed, and we were, people were contacting us, and a publisher reached out to us and said, we love this stuff. You guys should write a book, along the same lines. And Mark came up with the name CheapoVegas. It had been bouncing around his head for a while. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. And we basically proposed the website as a book to this publisher who said, yeah, we love what you're doing. You should write a book about Vegas. And we sent it to them, and they came back and said, oh, nobody would want to read this. We wouldn't buy this. And I was like, why did you ask us to write it then? First of all, I was really upset, and I sent them a really nasty fax. So nasty, in fact, that they offered us a different assignment just as an apology. because I said, you guys told us to write this. You told us, and then we put all this everything, and then you're like, oh, nobody wants to read that. But then so we started the site just to prove them wrong.
And we did.
In this case, yeah.
And you did. So the site starts in 2001. Where did you guys peak? Really, time wise and visits wise, do you know when you peaked and what was the traffic like at that point?
We never looked at that very closely. Probably the Wayback Machine would tell you what the traffic was like. I'd say about 2004 to 2007 or 8 was the peak. It was never not successful or popular.
You don't think it continued to rise until the end of it, until we sold it off?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. We were making more money at the end than at the beginning.
Wow.
But I think we also got a little bit, I don't know. I think we actually offered a few more things people could actually buy on the site at the end. Things that we actually thought were worth spending money on. We had an agreement with the American Casino Guide to sell their coupon book. We had like a deal with restaurants.com, which I think is out of business now. I don't know, to sell like gift certificates for restaurants in Vegas.
Yeah, they had discounted gift certificates you could take around. And did you partner up with any other like third-party booking aggregators where you would get a commission for them, like an Expedia or Hotels.com?
We did Expedia. We did Hotels.com. We did another one called Travel Worm, which I think doesn't exist anymore. We provided links to all those saying, hey, check their prices. But we also said, hey, if you find a better deal, don't book with us. Also, if you find a better deal, we set up a page where people could share the best deals that they got. Whether we didn't care about getting a commission on that. They could just share, hey, I got this awesome deal, and tell other people how to get the same deal.
I remember that. And that was frankly invaluable because, you can, and these days I do spend a lot of time on multiple aggregators looking for the lowest rate. And so it's extremely helpful when, someone stumbles upon something and posts it, and they certainly would on CheapoVegas. It did feel like a community of people that felt similarly about Las Vegas.
Yeah, early crowdsourcing stuff that we were doing there.
Yeah, we called it the bargain bin, the CheapoVegas bargain bin, where you could go in. But that was the other thing that you brought up, that I think we were popular. I don't think we were ever hugely popular, but I think our readers were fiercely loyal. And I think it's because they did feel like there was a community, because we had this voice. They felt like they knew us. And also we were there once a year. We said, hey, come hang out with us and do stupid stuff with us.
The soirees. Sure.
Right. Yeah, overlaps with the soiree episode. Like we had a real presence. Yeah. We were real people.
Yeah, we were real people.
And we've talked in earlier episodes, I think, about how I recall being on a trip with you guys at one point earlier on in an earlier year where I meant, I was just talking with Mark and I said, hey, Stinky, come over here, take a look at this or something. And some woman at the table next to us says, that's Stinky from the computer?
Right.
I mean, this was just some random woman in the casino. I mean, you guys were well known as personalities.
As Stinky from the computer.
Especially if you were in the right places, maybe not at the Mirage or the Bellagio. But if you were downtown, people knew who you were.
Yeah, and CheapoVegas also had that perspective of like, the name itself tells you, we would give a review of the Mirage or the Bellagio, but it was from the perspective of cheapo.
Yes.
So, we use the word snooty a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in regards to Bellagio.
Yeah, any of those places.
Snooty.
That was basically it, and that's how it started. And I originally developed the site entirely in HTML. Casino Boy was the focal point of it. Casino Boy was something everyone loved. I love Casino Boy, and it turns out everyone loved Casino Boy.
He was easy to love.
Yeah.
He was fresh face, positive.
At one point, Mark was in between jobs, and he came and stayed with us here in Colorado for a month and completely redid the site in code so that we could manage it better. Because it used to be you'd have to go in and, like, if you change something on one page, you have to remember every other page where we'd have to change that same information. Really a lot of work, but he actually put it all into code, put it all into a database, and he taught himself all of that just so he could do that, and completely revamped the site so it was searchable, it was sortable. Amazing. You could click a link and say, okay, where are the lowest limits, and it would give you a list of the limits for all the hotels, and who has the best pool, and it would rank them and that sort of thing. So Mark did all that, and that was a huge help.
What never changed, though, was that it was always written by us, so there were plenty of typographical errors and just like wrong words. And
it was sort of a signature, really. The typos.
It was a signature. Honestly. It used to drive me up the wall because I couldn't fix them because I didn't know anything about coding. But I think now that was one of the things that made us really human. Yeah, it's like we're just
And to be honest, I just didn't care. I was more interested in getting the truth out there than getting the spelling correctly.
Exactly. You know what we mean. It doesn't matter if I spelled it right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's also kind of a test too. Like if the spelling annoys you, then you're not our target audience.
There you go. Yeah.
Now it's been almost 15 years, I think, since you own the site, but are you still getting feedback that people miss it? Because I see it on occasion, randomly, or people talk about it. What sort of feedback do you still get about CheapoVegas? Especially on the internet?
I see it occasionally, someone saying, "Oh yeah, CheapoVegas," and they say, "Oh, I miss CheapoVegas." Yeah, and kind of it's funny hearing the rumors of what happened to us.
Oh, interesting.
But the other part of it is too, if I say, "Oh yeah, that that was Stinky and me," and then they're like, "Oh," and they want to share stories with me and tell me how much they love the site and stuff. It's really cool because we haven't owned it in 15 years.
Yeah, it ended one night at the Oyo Oasis Motel. And these guys were out there, and drugs were involved. And just ended.
I got a lot of heroin when I sold it. Yeah, it was. It's amazing that 15 years later people still remember it, and
it's really
I
cool.
think
and not just remember it, but they miss it.
They miss it
because nothing else.
There's nothing else like it
taking the place. Yeah,
and maybe that's bragging. But, we created something that's nobody's even done again, and which is bewildering why somebody hasn't. I see a lot of reviews of Vegas stuff, but the people have no point of view, and they're not interesting. The people just aren't interesting. They're just like, oh, here is a restaurant. It is pretty tasty. It's like, come on.
Right. There's an attitude, I think, of people wanting viewership and feeling like it has to be tied to positivity, where it's like, I think most people are craving truth over positivity.
Well, I think a lot of it is lazy.
That's lazy too.
It's laziness. Yeah. They don't want to put the effort in to actually have a perspective.
I think maybe this is why you react so badly to the word influencers, because I think there's a negativity of that word, of people who are just seeking influence for influence sake, which we were never doing that. We liked writing. We liked telling our truth. And it wasn't about having, just trying to turn our voices into commodity.
Yeah, into money.
And, we've always had a somewhat adversarial relationship with casinos, which I think is healthy, whereas we're not looking to promote or lift up casino corporations, even the ones we kind of like the owners of, or enjoy spending time in. There's an adversarial relationship there, which I think is healthy and which permeates all of our thoughts about Las Vegas too.
Yeah, totally. Any friendship that a casino extends to you is fake. They're not your friend. They don't give a shit about you, and you shouldn't give a shit about them. You are at war with them. You're trying to get the upper hand always. That's how gambling and business works.
All right, guys. Well, while CheapoVegas may not have been built to sell you stuff, this podcast absolutely exists only to sell you things you don't need.
We're influencers now.
That's right. Like CheapoVegas from casinos that closed decades ago. So to that end, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but stick around because when we return, we'll describe how Matt and Sticky managed to keep a homemade website staffed by just two jokers that covered all of Las Vegas up to date. And we'll get into the dollars and cents of just how lucrative a jokey, typo-filled hotel review site can be. Right after this.
Salmon tartare on a vanilla oil topped with papaya sesame seaweeds.
What? That's it? The bean don't eat no snooty food. I'm going to the surf buffet for some real food. Oh, it's a surf buffet. Now that's more like it.
Can't get enough, not at the Surf Buffet, where it's 24 hours of incredible food.
Hey, you'll never go hungry at the surf buffet.
Hi, I'm Bob Stupak, and I'm running for mayor. The so-called experts have me as a real underdog. Like most of us, I've been an underdog all my life. Now they're calling Las Vegas an underdog. The national press has us all but counted out. Well, I may be an underdog, but I'm one who knows how to succeed. I believe I have the energy, ability, and imagination to get Las Vegas moving again. And thank goodness it's you, and not those so-called experts that elect the mayor.
Welcome back, digital denizens, into the 404 error code we call the Neon Gutter. We're talking about the famous website created by Matt and Stinky called CheapoVegas.com. And while the tone and ethos of this podcast is similar to CheapoVegas, this show has a staff of nearly 75, while the website was just two friends making it work. So how did you manage to keep your reviews and your ratings up to date when covering so many hotels throughout the whole Las Vegas Valley?
Yeah, I can answer that a little bit. Nico, could you give me a drink so I can answer?
Well, I was going to say, you say a staff of 75. You should also mention that 37 of those are Randy Shandis's masseuses.
That's true.
Technically, that's true. Technically, that's
Bert,
true.
you asked how they, Matt and Stinky kept the site updated.
Us.
It was slave labor, basically. You know, there was the team of us, the group of 8 to 10 to 12 people that would go to Vegas twice a year. We would show up. Matt and Stinky would have these papers, stapled dossiers, basically, of lists of casinos grouped by location, handing them out to us. We would go off in pairs. I would go with Jerry or with Phil or Mike Gazal. We would go off and basically update the site, and like there would be a list of like, check, is this still the table limit, are these still the restaurants? If we could, we'd get into the hotel rooms themselves to check it out, but it was like month after month, trip after trip. And okay, it wasn't really slave labor. We got it. Honestly, I have to say it was a $75 per DM, which at the time felt so cool. Like to go in and have like $75, covers meals, pretty much. If you're splitting a hotel room, it covers the hotel room and even some gambling money.
Well, we could afford to pay for the hotel room separate from the per diem.
Oh, that was right. Yeah.
Yeah. And the per diem was set as the maximum that we could do for the number of trips and nights we did per year without having to give you a 1099 so you report it for taxes.
Oh, brilliant.
We kept it just under the tax limit for the year.
It was good. It paid for.
I mean, we always reported that income on our taxes, but it was under the withholding.
Of course. Well, I certainly reported it as outgoing expenses.
Sure.
But it's cool because we could gamble and lose some, and it was not a big deal because it was like, and you always paid in cash. You guys were giving us $225 in cash for a 3-day thing. It was like, I'm ready to gamble. It was great. It was great.
It was great, but I always felt a little embarrassed about it. I mean, honestly, because I was just honored to be sort of in the group and to be included in stuff with you guys. And then, doing the actual work of reporting on hotels didn't feel like work, of course. It just felt like goofy fun. And I always felt embarrassed to take the money. I most of the time I did. I'd usually protest, but I would usually still take the money and didn't feel that embarrassed about it.
You protested? Why would you? No way.
You guys were very generous for the amount of time. And again, we were goofing around and having fun updating the site, and so we were happy to do it.
Yeah, and that was the goal, was let's go out and have a good time, but spend half the day just updating the website.
Right.
And I think everyone felt an obligation. We all believed in what we were doing, and so we all believed is that this was worthwhile and this was important information to get out to people. So everyone was happy to do it just for that reason.
It kind of gave you a reason to look around too without gambling. It was funny. Yes. People would glance over. You'd have these papers and casino pens and filling stuff out. Like, who are these guys? Are they reporters or whatever?
Yes. Especially like pit crews and stuff.
Yeah,
they do. Looking at gambling limits and stuff. They're like, oh, what are you note taking?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
But it also gave us chances to be in dyads too, which I liked. Like you could, you get to pair off or go in small groups with a couple people, and then we all get together again for dinner and talk about what we found. It was a great way to structure a weekend.
Plus, you guys would all go out and check these things out and write down your notes, and you couldn't help but write down jokes. And
exactly.
we could steal your jokes or come up with better versions to put on the website or whatever. So we got the reviews updates, plus we got jokes that we could steal.
So while we were doing that, were you and Stinky just getting massages with Randy? Randy
yes.
Shandis? Okay.
Yes. Well, we were giving Randy massages.
Oh. How much was your per diem? Because I hope it was higher.
So
it's
we were
detailed in the lawsuit.
Everyone was out doing it, and it was fun to do. I mean, that was the thing, is those trips were super fun.
They were
and it
fun.
Was really fun to go to the casinos to know exactly what you're looking for. And all of a sudden you felt like, man, I know more about this casino than most people or anyone.
Even most employees of the casino.
As we learned. Yeah. I'd say Amy worked the hardest because she was the only person who had to visit every casino.
And again, that's your wife, Amy, and she was visiting them because she was doing theme reviews and Was she doing carpet? Was that part of
She
her,
did carpet. She
beat
did
on CheapoVegas as well. She was
carpet,
she was
bathrooms.
carpet. Yeah.
How did she get into the rooms? Was she actually asked to go into?
So we had a trick for going into the hotel rooms. We would go to the front desk and say, we're having a big family reunion and we're thinking about having it at your hotel. Can we see a room?
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh,
and
that's
almost
so
every
good.
place would be like, yeah, we have an empty room. You can go check it out.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So we
I think that
go
makes
there
sense for the Naked City Oasis is to tell them you have a family reunion coming in. Can we book a block of rooms?
I'm going to do that right around bedtime and then just fall asleep in the room.
So we'd go up there, take a dump, leave, not flush. But it was easier with the smaller places. With the bigger places, that was not as easy to do. But yeah, CheapoVegas, we never stayed when we were doing CheapoVegas. We never stayed at the Bellagio. Right. Or the Venetian. We never stayed at some of the places we reviewed, but we did have an idea. Plus, we had such faithful readers that they would write us and say, "Hey, your review of the room is accurate, but you should know the curtains don't close all the way. So at 5 a.m, the sun is really bright and intense. It comes in, and this, we'd get stuff like that." In fact, we had some readers who were very obsessed with two things readers are obsessed with is light leaking into the room and shower pressure. Oh my gosh, those are a big deal for people. And you go to any website and that's not going to be part of the formal review of that hotel, but we would talk about it.
Bad water pressure.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned some of the per diem, and while CheapoVegas wasn't created to sell anyone on anything, the site did make money. So how did it make money? How much did it make, if I can ask? And
how much did it
considering you were making money over all these years, why are you so goddamn cheap?
There's absolutely no possible way for me not to be cheap. I can't even imagine not being cheap. We made money selling hotel rooms. We got anywhere from 5 to 13% commission on hotel rooms that were booked from a link through us. 13%, when someone books 3 or 4 nights at the Venetian, that's a lot of money. So we got like $4 or $5 for every American Casino guide we referred to the guy that sold those. And then we got a couple bucks on every restaurants.com or whatever. And again, we really, really hated if somebody booked through us and then they didn't get the best deal. That just really bothered us and we didn't care. I kept all the books in a spreadsheet I created. The company was formed as an LLC by me. It was always marking my company, but just for simplicity, because it was never a business. We never cared about it as a business. Everything was just done through me and I did the taxes for it. And then we did make money. In the beginning, it was a couple $1,000 and then it was a couple $1,000 a month. And we just put it in a bank account. And it just kept growing. And we spent it on per diems. We spent it on computers. We spent it on the soiree every year. And,
that was a lot of ice cream.
Yeah. Whatever we could, like renting the conference room at the El Cortez or shrimp cocktails. The poker tournament cost us, a decent amount of money because we just spent it wherever we could. Neither of us ever took any of the money. And so this is probably a good time to say in 2006, Mark died suddenly, unexpectedly, and through no fault of his own, just, horrible medical anomaly. Absolutely awful. And he never took any of that money. And there were times where, he was like moving from New York to Chicago and he could have probably used it. And I'm like, hey, you have this money here. Do you want it? No, let's just leave it there. It's like, well, what are we going to do with it? And by the end, the site was making, I think in the last year was the most profitable year. So maybe it was the most popular at the end. I don't know. But we made like $45,000. Wow. Which doesn't seem like a lot nowadays, but it was, when it was almost all profit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. $45,000 for goofing around with your friends.
Right.
And that doesn't include money we got from writing gigs that we got through the site. But yeah, so it was about $45,000 at the end.
So can you talk a little bit about after Mark passed away, how difficult was it for you to keep it going just on your own? Because then it was kind of a little bit of a solo project. You had the rest of us as a group to help you with certain things, but we're really not that much help. You were really doing it on your own.
Yeah, especially
so
with the business
talk a
of
little
the
bit about that, if
website.
you don't mind.
We didn't do anything.
Well, we were still doing the trips. And so that was huge for keeping the stuff up to date. I was doing the actual website interface stuff and trying to add new things. So I then had to teach myself the coding that Mark did. And I did in some very basic fashion. He did it in a much more elegant way, and the things he did were way better. But I was able to update the website, add some new features. It was never nearly as much fun without a partner, though. Like the trips were still a lot of fun, but all the time in between were not nearly as much fun. And it became a lot more work for me. It became apparent to me how much work and how brilliant Mark was.
We had a few kind of downer trips too for a while too. I mean, it was really hard to not have him there for a few of those trips right after.
For sure.
Yeah. By 2008, the site had gotten popular enough to attract undesirables. Mark wasn't part of it anymore. And the soirees just weren't nearly as much fun. They had gotten too big and too many people. And definitely not as much fun without Mark there. Mark was by far the most personable he was the more personable of the two of us. And he was the people loved. Stinky was the guy people wanted to meet.
If he was alive, I wouldn't be here because it'd be the three of you guys doing it. And I'd be like,
No, I think it might be the three of you guys.
Yeah, Mark would probably, Mark would have Bert's job, Dan.
oh, okay.
No question.
I'm tired of the emails you send to me saying that every week, honestly.
I'm not. Yeah, that's a downer, but I mean, people need to understand how great Mark was.
Yeah, Mark was great, and we miss him a lot. And we'll talk more about what happened to CheapoVegas because it's been gone for a while. We all miss it, and we're going to find out how exactly it ended for us. So don't refresh your browser. We'll be right back.
When that Polish maverick came to town, he turned the game around. Vegas world, he got a little crazy, that's what people say. He's turned things upside down. Vegas world, oh, that maverick, that Polish maverick, he doesn't seem to understand. You just can't keep on giving. How does he earn a living? But Vegas loves that man. Vegas world, they turned the game around. Vegas world, they turned it upside down.
And now it's time for the Neon Gutters Sigma Derby Race of the Week.
Neon Gutter? All right, guys. My name's Liz Irway. I'm with the Neon Gutter, and we're here at the D betting on horse races. One of the last standing horse races in the country. And they're off. 1-3 is ahead. 1-3 is ahead. Those odds, though, those are 22 to 1. They're pulling ahead. They're pulling ahead, but number 2 is trying to catch up, slowing down. We see 5 kicking it. 3 is still in the lead with 1 coming up. 1 is slowing down and 2 is speeding up. 3 is still the clear winner. We're looking at 2-3. And the odds were 13 to 1.
Hey, we won!
This is amazing. I've got so many quarters, I don't know what to do with them. I think I'm going to make a fortress out of them. That's what I'll do, and then I'll take them out of the fortress, and I'll go down and buy myself that sexy grandpa t-shirt I've been looking at. I'm actually not a grandpa, but I always wanted to be, and if I was one, I'd be a sexy one. Okay, folks, we'll see you next time.
Welcome back once more into the Neon Gutter. We've been talking about the storied history of CheapoVegas.com, how it started, how it grew to be an influential force, and now what happened to it. If you point your browser today to CheapoVegas.com, you can see some of the things we've been talking about, like the Casino Boy logo and the Casino Graveyard, where they have like all the Casino Boys and little reviews of casinos that have closed over the years. But really, it's just a husk of a site that hasn't been updated in nearly 10 years or more. So, Matt, what exactly happened to Cheapo Vegas?
So the non-disparagement clause in the sale, and we'll get to the sale, has expired. So I can say without fear
so you can
of
disparage as much as
I can say without fear of being sued.
Let her rip, baby.
So in 2011, I got an offer to sell the site. And I did. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. But from 2011 forward, now that the non-disparagement clause in that sale agreement has expired, I can say the site immediately and forever after became hot garbage, absolutely worthless crap, and the antithesis of everything we tried to do as far as being honest and being humorous and being original.
Come on, is that all you got? Non-disparagement clause is over.
Yeah. And I probably shouldn't be surprised based on who we sold it to. But yeah.
It's a steaming pile of garbage.
The person that bought it, the person who bought it, I think he thought he was funnier than he was. And I think he didn't even understand how important like Stinky and my voices were to what we were doing. I think he just thought it'd run itself, or that, I don't know what he thought. But yeah, they immediately took anything negative out. They immediately increased the number of ways they were trying to sell you a room. And really, God bless our fans, they hated it. And they just ripped it to shreds.
They saw it right
almost
away.
immediately.
Yeah.
Yes, people could tell immediately that it was no longer your voice. Yeah.
They were like posting stuff like, what happened to Cheapo Vegas? What happened? Yeah.
Yes, people were mad.
But that was the kind of community they felt they had with us. The reason I sold it in 2011 is because it just got to be too much. There were two things. The web was maturing much faster than my skills. I kind of saw where it was going with video and everything, and I just wasn't going to be able to do all that stuff. It just wasn't nearly as much fun without Stinky. And I'd kind of reached the end of the road. The other part of it was too, is this guy says, "Oh, I want to buy Cheapo Vegas." And I didn't like him at all. And he said, "Just tell me the price." And so I gave him a price that I thought was ridiculous. He said, "Okay."
That was the thing. Like, I was watching that happen. Like, yeah, when he was convinced that he just said okay to your price, and then wrote up a contract and was coming up with like, okay, let's do it. And then he started to, maybe some intelligence was kicking in. He was like, wait a minute, I need to see your financials. Wait, I need to revise this 4-page contract into a 17-page contract. And you're like, look, buy it or don't. I don't give a shit, So like, and then he was like, well, okay, I guess I'll buy it. Like, but what made it such a powerful position is you really didn't care whether you sold it to him or not. You were done with it, but you didn't care whether he bought it. So every time he tried to push back or try to like manipulate you, you were just like, fuck off. Buy it or don't.
That's true. And there was a point of indifference. And it wasn't that I wasn't done with it, because I still loved it so much, but I didn't think I could take care of it anymore. And I didn't think I wanted to take care of it anymore. I love Casino Boy. I still love Casino Boy. And I loved what we did. It was untenable. But yeah, there's this point of indifference where it's like, you're okay either way.
Yeah.
And that's where you set the price, or that's where you set your
Matt, I've used that as an example for so many people about like making business deals or decisions. It's like, I've used that as an example. It's like, if you really can get yourself beyond caring, Like, you could go either way, then you're in a position of power. And it was interesting to see because
there's leverage there for sure. Yeah.
Well, and that's the right point to set your business deal or whatever at. It's actually something I learned from a book about poker is set your bet at this point of indifference. Either whether they, make your play based on this point of indifference so that you win either way.
So I think we need to recategorize Neon Gutter as in the business podcast section after this episode.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Business podcast.
I didn't come up with the idea. I learned it from somewhere else. It's like, that's brilliant. Yeah, that's great.
You did it.
And it was like, and with something that you're so closely attached to, it's the only way you can do something like that is to create this, set the price at that point of indifference. And I don't want to say how much it was, but I will say that I'd never had a mortgage payment again after that. The important thing was, half of it was still Stinky's.
Yeah.
So with I gave his half and everything that we had saved over all those years to his parents, and they set up a foundation in his name, which I'm a board member of, and they're board members of, and we do things that for causes that Stinky would have cared about on an annual basis. We donate to them from that foundation, which is by far the best thing that could have happened. Yeah. And that's something I'm very proud of. And his parents have set it up so that Mark's niece and nephew and my son will eventually take over that foundation and keep it going. And they're involved at this point, which is, so great.
It's amazing.
Yeah. That's the best thing that happened out of it.
That's great.
How do you feel about CheapoVegas now in terms of missing? Have you thought about doing something similar now that site is essentially defunct? You're retired yourself out of your own career. You've got some time on your hands. Have you thought about doing something along those lines again?
I don't think I could do something at that level and also do the daily Sudoku. It's just too much.
What about the Wordle? Would you still be able to keep up on the Wordle?
I'm not that old yet. I'm not that old yet. I don't think in the landscape, I don't think I'm capable of it. I wish somebody would do it, and I would totally support them, and I would totally encourage them. It needs to be somebody younger, somebody with their group of friends, somebody who has their own perspective. It doesn't even have to be our perspective, their own unique perspective that they just, use as a blanket over Las Vegas. I miss Casino Boy so much. That's the thing I miss the most. I miss that there isn't a site like that, but I don't miss that it's not us doing it.
Yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still book all my travels through CheapoVegas.
For you.
Good luck. All their links are defunct.
Actually, all their links are. I did click around there in anticipation of this episode, and all their, some of their links actually work, but the links to the actual sites where you can book stuff, those are all
the
dead,
date
so,
when it puts in the default date to book, it's a 2017 date.
I tried to book the Mirage and based on their review, but just couldn't do it.
They still have ways.
Gambling hall.
I was going to say, are there ways to book places that no longer exist on that site?
Yeah, I wish them the worst. I hope that I look every year or so and see if CheapoVegas.com, the domain name, falls out of registration, and I will snatch it up in a second.
Nice.
I'll just put the old site back up and say, hey, this is all old, but we still love it.
Can you get back in touch with the guy who bought it?
I probably could. I would never want to.
Not after this podcast.
To give you an example, this guy was just an obnoxious. I think he made a tech fortune. And I don't know. He bought some other Vegas sites. I don't know whatever happened to them. Maybe he thought he was going to build an empire. Maybe he thought he was the digital Tony Hsieh. I don't know. But he also said, when he found out I wrote The Filthy Critic, he said he wanted to buy that too.
Wow.
And there's no way you can separate me from the filthy critic. Although Mark used to ghostwrite it sometimes for me when I was on vacation or whatever. You ghostwrote it for me a couple times too. But
that was fun. Fun voice.
But only somebody who knows me
Did he try and buy Gordon Worsted?
He did not make me an offer. I'm a little pissed off. My video reviews.
Dan had his own video reviews as well.
Yeah. And we had Cheapo New York and Cheapo Reno too. And they didn't know we had Cheapo New York. Mark did that all on his own, which was a huge amount of work.
Huge. New York
Massive.
City.
And it was an incredible site. And it didn't have Casino Boy. It had a different mascot, Value Bum, which was great. And the Value Bum. And rather than let them absorb that as part of this deal, I actually yanked that site completely off the internet so they wouldn't even know it existed.
Nice.
So they couldn't get their hands on that because they did want, we owned a bunch of other domain names for other things. We thought maybe someday we'll do Cheapo New Orleans or, and so we had those domains and they bought those from me too. They never did anything with those.
Okay.
We also owned the domain name cheapotravel.com. And they got that and they never did anything with that. And to me, that seems like it would be worth quite a bit. But
yeah.
Thanks for walking us through it, Matt. Thanks for walking us through it, Dan. It's been a great look into a true cultural moment in Las Vegas's history, honestly. But still today, here at the Neon Gutter, we're trying to do our best to scour every corner of the valley to find the best deals and money-saving ideas for our listeners. And so to that end, be sure to visit our own Deal HQ section of our website. You'll find great deals on food, gambling, and other ways to have a great time on a budget. And of course, for more reviews, remembrances, and general ass hattery, be sure to join us here on the podcast next time, down here in the deep, dark depths of the Neon Gutter. We'll talk to you then.
Ass hattery.
The cash won't last.
The Neon Gutter is a Big Empire production. Randy Shandis, executive producer. Our incredible theme music is courtesy of Rosin Coven. Do you have something to say? Call our voicemail line at 775-400-2941. And for more episodes, vintage photographs and video, contact info, and those amazing trip reports, visit us at neongutter.com.
Las Vegas Haiku. Sweet casino boy, so full of awe and wonder, at Vegas excess. For those who never got the chance to meet Stinky at one of our soirees or elsewhere, here's a little clip in his own voice so that you understand what a thoughtful and giving person he was.
Where I work, there's a dialysis clinic, and so there's all kinds of old people around, but that's not part of the story. This is part of the story.
Oh.
When UPS comes to town, sometimes they have to bring blood, human blood, and it's marked human blood. So one day, I took a big box of it because I felt that it belonged to me, and I gave it to my mom, and she was very appreciative. It wasn't even her birthday or anything.
Wow.
And I said, Mom, I got you some human blood. She said, where'd you get this? And I told her. I stole it from the UPS truck. So she reprimanded me, but it was one of those things where she couldn't get too mad because she was so happy.
Fine, she reprimanded you, but did she take the blood back?
No.
She kept it, didn't
exactly,
she?
Yeah, of course.
She let it coagulate in her own home.
Yep.